Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. All right, everybody, we are back. Welcome back. And I'm joined by Annie Baker Atwood. Annie Baker Atwood, nice to have you back. How are you?
Thank you. I am doing really well. It's a beautiful day.
Yes, it is. It is. And I love your topic for today. We're going to let people know that in a little bit. But can you tell us a little bit about what you do, just to kind of review in case people haven't heard your show or seen you before, and where people can get a hold of you?
Sure. I am a Reiki master. Reiki is energy, and similar to if you have that little battery icon on your phone, you have those all through your body. And just as we need to charge our phone and we all freak out when it gets to 25%, somehow we forget to charge those up in our body. And that's what I help you with. Gotcha. You can find me at redbootsreiki.com and click on, contact me, and you get me.
Nice. Now, you're in Maine, but virtually you can help anybody. You can do the Reiki through just like me and you right now, through Zoom, yes. Right? Isn't that true?
Yes. Zoom. I had a call yesterday on FaceTime because she just really needed Reiki right then and didn't want to go to her computer. So
okay. And over the phone too? Can you use it? Does that work too?
Yep. And there's also just remote Reiki where you don't even need to be involved.
Really?
Yeah.
So that's something you got to be at the top. I mean, you got to be the master, right? To be able to do that, or
to be able to do it really well. Yes. Okay. Yes. And there's times I've been transmitting and someone who's already attuned to me will text me and say, "Were you sending me energy this morning?" I'm like, "Oh, sure."
Wow. So when you're doing they call it distance Reiki, is that what what you call it?
Yeah.
What do you prefer as the Reiki master? Do you prefer hands-on, or is it equally as effective remotely?
It's equally as effective, and they serve different purposes. When I'm just working on what we call a thought form, and I used to do that while I was driving to work because I had almost an hour drive to work. So I would just, pull in the thought form and be doing Reiki as I was driving. And that was great for kind of maintenance work. But if there's something really specific that we are working on, I need more feedback, which is, what we're going to talk about with COVID. I need more feedback so I can find, the specific blockage on you. And that can be done via, a phone or Zoom or in person.
I was just going to ask, did you touch your shoulder for any reason?
Yeah.
You did. Why? I get it.
Okay, so we have our energy centers, which are called the chakras. And I like to describe that as I-95, like going right, Maine right down to Florida. And then we also have something called meridians, and the meridians are the secondary highways. So if you map out, I don't know if you remember like the old GPS, it gave you this dark line, that would, but it wouldn't give you any of the side roads because it was just keeping you on the main road. So the meridians are all of the side roads. And so when they are blocked, there's very specific patterns to unblock them. And so touching my shoulder to my wrist, that going one way, it's your heart meridian, and going the other way, it's your lung meridian.
Wow.
And so what I talk about, and I got entered into my Reiki master on March 20th, 2020. So it was everything had shut down March 13th.
Oh.
And so we were able to go right in because we can do this remotely and safely support healing. Oh, I'm not allowed to say that. support recovery for a Reiki patient. So I have a lot of experience with Reiki recovery, COVID recovery through Reiki. And so initially it was a lot about the lungs. And so when I'm working with somebody, I can actually feel where the damage is in the lungs. And that's a level of not only being that trained as a Reiki professional, but also intuition and a lot of experience with it. And a lot of research too, and really looking at how does COVID attack your body, and it's different for every single person. But anyway, what I tell my clients is to take your, I know it's going to be backwards, but take your hand and put it over your heart, and then put your other hand over your wrist. And this creates a circuitry that is strong, with all of the right back roads.
Cool. Now, we were talking that Reiki is relevant, and your topic today. You're going to talk to us about Reiki and COVID, which I'm so excited about it. But I don't know if I told you this, but I recently read that more and more in each hospital, they're bringing in the Reiki master to help with the pre and the post operations.
Yes.
So do you feel that? Do you see that it's becoming more and more accepted and in demand? Is that happening?
There's two parts to that.
Okay.
The answer is yes. I think doctors are realizing how useful Reiki is to support their clients through recovery. But I also really want to help business owners and employees understand that Reiki is completely relevant if you are healthy, and if you are an athlete, and if you're a high performer. So I don't want to pigeonhole Reiki as simply for accidents and trauma.
Okay, gotcha.
I would like to really encourage the idea that when you are tuned up, you perform better. Same as it's just so much more fun to go on a road trip when you have a full tank of gas and a new oil change. You're just like, yeah,
gotcha.
This is going to be fun. And so you kind of approach life differently when you're fully charged. And one of the things that we're noticing with COVID, especially long COVID, is it's really hard to take on and keep a charge because of how COVID, I don't know if the word attacks is the right, but kind of lands and sticks to you. And it's different for each person because it's kind of congregating on a part of you that wasn't the strongest part.
Can I ask what a charge is? You use the term. It's hard to get.
If I charge you up, if you have your phone charged and you're running a lot of apps, it's not going to keep its charge.
Okay.
So if you think about COVID or any illness as a lot of apps running in the background, you just run out your batteries more quickly.
Oh, okay. All right. I thought it was a term that had to do with Reiki. I wasn't sure. That's why I asked.
Yeah. I mean, I always say I charge you up.
I see.
But that's actually incorrect because I'm just the charging cord. You're charging through what we call source universal energy.
You're the conduit.
I'm simply the conduit. Yeah.
Got it.
So I'm not battery. I'm never going to run out.
Okay.
And I'm not going to be filled with your ick, so you're filled with my great,
Yeah, I got you. You're taking it, and you're the middle.
I'm the middle. Yep, the power cord.
Okay, power cord. All right, cool.
I'm the power cord. That's what I am.
Yeah. So tell me more about you were talking about long COVID.
Yes, specifically long COVID, because that's where I'm finding the need for a very specifically trained Reiki practitioner, moi, is necessary to clear it. And I am being very upfront with that. Same as you can pump your own gas, but if something goes wrong with your car, you need to take it to a trained mechanic, especially I drive a Land Rover, and many mechanics won't touch it because it runs on electronics that they're not familiar with. And so they'll say, no, you need to take that to the dealership when certain things go. Other things, oil change, of course, they can handle that. But certain things I will be told, if you need a new, transmission, you need to go to the dealer. So in this aspect, I'm the dealership, and I can, in 45 minutes, work with you to figure out kind of where the dust has settled. So when you have an illness on your physical, it creates energetic dust on your aura. And your aura is just your energy skin. That's all that is. And same as, we take a shower and we clean our skin, you need to clean your energy skin. And same as, if you're a child and you've drawn Sharpies on yourself, because I was a kindergarten teacher and they used to do that, that takes a little more scrubbing to get off. Mm-hmm. So if you have, Sharpie on you on your energy skin, Sharpie on your aura from COVID, I'm trained to remove it. And it sometimes can happen really quickly, and sometimes it takes more than one session. So my COVID sessions are a little bit different than my regular sessions. My regular sessions, typically you're asleep in 7 minutes, and you just get this. Yeah, I time it. Yeah, I know. That's cool. And I always feel, like, when I'm waking somebody up, because they're always kind of startled. But anyway, when I'm doing a session where we're working on a very specific situation that is a result of COVID, that could be brain fog, it could be aches and joints in your muscles, or aches and pains in your joints, asthma. It could be a trigger of a skin, like eczema condition, as well as the more typical ones, your lungs and your digestive. So for one of my clients, he had terrible headaches. And he actually, it started when he got the first vaccine.
Oh, wow.
And so we were really able to just work on the head and be able to figure out, okay, where is this part? And interestingly, right here are the meridians, or the back roads, that go all the way down to your toes and your big toe. And so one of my friends said that he had cold toes. Oh. And it was his body's way of increasing the antibodies to fight it off. I mean, it is amazing what our bodies can do.
Oh, yeah.
And if I can strengthen that and kind of remove any energetic debris that's in the way, it gives your body more battery power to recover. And so some of the things that I feel with my hands, even though it's not there, but I feel it with my hands, we have something in our bodies called the adrenal glands, and that's what collects stress. And so the first thing that I'll do is clear your adrenal glands, and I scoop out, all of that debris. And if it is a fresh case of COVID, it feels very oily, like a very heavy oil.
Wow.
There's two kinds of stress that you pick up on. One is chronic stress, and one is, a very sudden onset stress.
Okay.
So COVID wipes you out. It
Whole body.
wipes you out. And actually, I've never had COVID, so I'm just looking at what it's done to all of my clients. So I can see, just based on if I work on it every day, and you don't even need to be there, I'll begin to feel the oil lessen up. With long COVID, it's kind of a combination of dryer lint that's damp. So if you ever look at the outside of a dryer vent, there's this packed up, dense, damp.
Yeah.
ick.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
Really?
Yeah.
And the adrenals are right here, right?
Nope, they're in the middle of your back.
Oh,
Just-
okay.
yeah, kind of opposite your kidneys.
What chakra is that? Is it closest near?
Your gut chakra, or
Gut chakra.
your solar plexus.
Okay. All right. And then there's and you that's the one that feels oily to you. And then this the lungs does it matter can you automatically feel, and when you can automatically feel that's
Yep.
where it's situated?
Yep. And so one of my clients texted me. She was overseas, and she said, caught COVID, not feeling good.
Uh-oh.
Help.
Yeah.
I love these texts. Everybody just texts me. I mean, that's the easiest way to find me. And so what I was reading, and she's an incredibly petite young lady in early 20s, mid 20s. What had happened is the bottom half of her lungs had kind of like Tupperware that's overused. They just got really brittle. And so she wasn't able to get enough breath in. So her lungs were operating at about 60%.
Wow.
Even though she was able to breathe, because the bottom lobe was just so clenched that the little air sacs couldn't open up. And so I needed to really remind her, oh, hey, you're operating at 60%. So don't go running and singing, because your body can't accommodate that right now. And the other thing was your bones can get out of alignment when you do a lot of coughing. And the posture that you do when you're coughing, kind of curves you in.
Yeah.
And women especially, that can get your hips out of alignment. And so I know.
Everything's connected, I guess.
Everything's connected. So there's, certain things I do to help them pop their hips back into alignment. And really being able to help someone visualize where that energetic dust that you don't want has settled. Find those dust bunnies. I'm able to work with the client to say, okay, what are you feeling? Okay, I need you to do this. Okay, I need you, to do this hand position. All right, I need you to cradle your face, depending on where it's landed.
Mm-hmm.
I'll figure out which of the, back roads are clogged up, and then figure out where they're clogged. Is it, close to the beginning of an on-ramp, or, it's a little farther away, so that we can figure out where we can best add the energy and give the boost.
Mm-hmm. And does it feel for you? I think you told me once when you're working on somebody, you'll get warmth in your hands. Is it a different feeling when you're working on someone with COVID?
Definitely the adrenals are, that is just very oily. The it somehow I'm able to see through my hands what it is. And that's not necessarily Reiki. That's just me being really intuitive.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm not sure of something. So when I first started Reiki recovery, I didn't know that one of your lungs has two lobes and the other lung only has one. All I knew was that that side of the lungs needed twice as much charging.
Oh,
I'm like, huh, I wonder what that is. Okay, it's
yeah,
that.
that explains it.
The other one was if you're given a lot of heavy duty drugs to stop the effects, those drugs cycle through your system, and making sure that you have enough fiber to cycle it out of your system is really important to remember to do, maybe the 2 weeks after the injection.
Oh. Can you feel anything different for people that are vaccinated and people who are unvaccinated when you're doing a session?
Um, if someone who was vaccinated has a reaction to the vaccination,
Like the gentleman you
no.
talked about?
I mean, I know that I had a really strong reaction to the vaccination. And I was like, wow, look at all these pretty colors. Maybe I shouldn't be driving.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, I was at an Indian burial site and I could just see all these colorful tribes. It was wild.
Wow.
Yeah. So
That's
um
interesting.
and so that's definitely, third eye, intuition, like up here. I felt like I had like a helmet on.
Hmm.
And so I needed to, you know, really work on my little crown chakra, and keep that all together. Um, whereas someone with, a, if it's settled in your throat, which I haven't heard a lot of, um, more if it's giving you a foggy brain, you'll feel less clarity in your communication.
Hmm.
And then you're definitely going to give your throat chakra extra, and then also your third eye more love. And it's different with every person,
Yeah.
which is why it's really important to work with someone who's had a lot of experience, because I've seen so many cases of it. And one of the things I really want to emphasize, especially in business, is long COVID um, really has an impact on your ability to perform at how you would like to perform. And so that's very frustrating for you. And it's very frustrating for the people around you who are kind of like, dude, what's up?
Yeah.
Normally you can handle all of that and you're handling about 60% of your normal capacity. Well, yes, you are actually handling 60% of your normal capacity. And I would love to support people to kind of increase that 60% to 75%.
Right.
And then, kind of increase your capacity
So
by,
with the long COVID, so you're finding that through your sessions and working with you, are you somehow shortening the time period, or are you just helping the people just feel better and on their way to recovery, or do you think it's speeding it up?
I think it speeds it up. Yeah, I think so much um, information says if you can visualize it, you can clear it. And so what I'm doing is creating the visualization so they can imagine, okay, this is how I'm getting those dust bunnies out,
Okay.
whether it's a magnet visualization, whether it's um, visualizing them swimming out. And I do a lot of work with my tuning fork to actually break up the patterns that are stuck. And so it's a way of just, it's what I do, and I'm really good at it. So if anybody's having an issue with long COVID and feeling frustrated in the workplace, come find me. And it's actually one that you can't just order on my website. I need to have a conversation with you first.
Okay. All right. This is great information. Annie Baker Atwood, can you tell people, please, once again, how to get a hold of you and any thing that you want us to think about or leave us with great information? And you're doing a great service for people. So thank you.
Yeah. So come find me, redbootsreiki.com. That's my website. I am the owner of it. I am the one who responds to everything. I think that my phone number is probably on there. Text me and tell me where you're from and what your time frame or I'm sorry, your time zone is, so that we can connect, and we will first have a conversation about where you're not feeling 100%. And then I will be able to set up a time with you to really dive in and clear stuff.
Awesome. Annie, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And great information, and keep helping those people. It's doing a great job. Guys, we will be right back. Thank you, Annie.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.